Today I will be talking about FileMaker Performance, and I will be showing you some recent results of my testing. I was testing all the stuff that I tested before the last FileMaker Konferenz in Salzburg, but I also focused on things that attendees of the FileMaker Konferenz last year asked me or were interested in. So just to tell you how many tests I have performed to bring the results today, I actually went through almost 40,000 tests. As I was able to see in exporting records and importing records, that's the same. As you can see, between 12 and 16 there is a slow but constant improvement path. So when we create a bunch of records, there is a much bigger shift, and as you can see, creating 10,000 records with a random part of a big text, there is a big difference between 12 and the following versions. Now a big disaster. And this was actually a test that I ran for FileMaker DevCon last year, and this is what I found out, that I was trying the same test for the Salzburg FileMaker Konferenz, and the results that I found for Salzburg was completely different. And when I was talking about it here last year, I was saying I don't know why the tests were different, and I wanted to figure out. So I did run more tests after the conference, and I discovered the main difference was that tests that were showing bad results for new versions were when I was working with a table where there was a field with a lot of text in it. Basically, just by not having the long text field there made the results much better. So you may already know that it's recommended best practice that if you have a lot of text, it's better to have a separate table and do one-to-one relationship. The test that I made showed that with FileMaker 14, 15 and 16, this recommended best practice has become even more important. As you may know, FileMaker does not load all fields when it loads records. It loads all fields except for global fields and container fields and unstored calculations. But when you convert container field to a text as a base 64, you then suddenly have it stored in a text field. When we were asked to optimize a solution for a customer, and in that solution we found that there was a copy of container where they were storing PDF files ranging between 1 and 10 megabytes. Copy of that PDF was stored in a text field as a base 64. Sorting about 100 records in that table was taking a minute. Just by removing that base 64, we cut it down from 1 minute to about 1 second. Now the indexed versus unindexed fields, and this is the thing that some of my tests actually working with indexed fields was slower than unindexed fields. So at that time I said I would be glad to find that I made a mistake, and so I did about a few thousand tests just to compare speed of indexed and unindexed fields. I discovered I actually did have a bug in my test last year. So I have a good news for you. Sorting by field has probably nothing to do with indexes, as FileMaker is saying, but searching is definitely faster with index fields. How a network of FileMaker clients connected to the same server is affected by something that one client is doing. A client commits a change to a database. What happens to the other clients, and how this can affect their performance? Every time you commit a change to a record, the server stores the record change, and then it sends notification to all connected clients so that they know that the record has changed and that their cache is no longer valid. The point is that this is sent to every client that has the same file open, even if the client does not need to know that. For instance, if you have in that record as a text field in base 64, just by changing one number in the number field in that record will send a notification to all clients, and every client that has that record loaded will load that 2 GB file again. There are things to carefully avoid when working with multiple users. FileMaker 16 is mostly faster than previous versions. The one important exception that I found was working with records where a lot of text is stored in a text field.